Oh, okay. You're up in Ireland as well?
Yes.
Okay, great. Yeah, welcome. You're Lorraine's colleague, is that right?
Yes, yes, I work in the telematics department.
The telematics. Okay, great. Yeah, very nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Um,
Too.
yeah. Morning, Nigel.
Hey Giovanni, how's things?
Hey, nice to meet you. Whereabouts are you joining from?
Ireland, up
Are
north,
you,
Derry. Yeah,
okay. Are you Terex as well?
Terex, yeah.
Okay. Okay, very good. Welcome.
No problem, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, great. There's one more person here joining. Actually, two more people. Great. We have a good turnout today. Just so everybody knows, we record these sessions so that we then publish them on YouTube so that people have them for reference if they need to look up anything that they need to know about. So I just wanted to put that out as a disclaimer. And the way that we typically run these sessions is I'll start with like 15 minutes, 10, 15 minutes of updates, new features that are available in Tulip. And then we just kind of open it up to Q&A that you guys have. If you want to share apps that you're building, whatever it is, you can do it that way. If at any point someone has a question, of course, feel free to stop the conversation, raise your hand, put something in the chat, whatever it is. Just we want this to be as a conversation really. So yeah, welcome everybody, and welcome Victor. Victor, can you hear us?
Hello, yeah.
Yeah, hey, welcome. Whereabouts are you joining from, Victor?
Second,
Whereabouts are you joining from?
I'm joining from Swiss, Smith and Nephew.
Switzerland. Okay, beautiful, great country. Yeah, welcome. Yeah. So I was just saying before you joined, we record these sessions. We do 10 minutes of things that I share, and then open it up to Q&A. So if at any time you have a question, feel free to interrupt. Okay, good. So the first thing that I wanted to share an update on is an app competition. So through community, and if you're not a member of community, I recommend that you join because there's lots of good content that's posted on there. So we're hosting a competition in January. So essentially, as you can see here, you get the chance to win these Tulip clocks. They're pretty cool, actually. They're custom made. They kind of light up depending on what time of the day it is, and tell you the time this way. So we're giving away 6 of these to the post with the most likes. So to submit your entry, we're looking for the first app that you built with Tulip. So just simply share screen recording, videos, photos, just a little description of what the app does. And then the post with most likes will get these 6 clocks that you can share with your colleagues. There's already been a couple of posts, but if you guys have an app that you want to share it on here. This one actually is a really good post. I recommend that you take a look at it because I can share the post here in the chat. Yeah, there we go. It's really good. They use Tulip in this is a flower picking business. So essentially, they ship flowers. You can see here orchids. I think is what they do mostly. And they've integrated Tulip with a bunch of stuff with their NetSuite, with FedEx. Their Zebra printer label, as you can see here. So it's a really nice use case, fully built out of Tulip. So yeah, I mean it's but there's still quite a bit of time for the entry. So if you guys want to submit your entry for the chance to win these 6 clocks, I recommend that you just go in community and post it there. Good. The next thing that I wanted to talk about was the Webpage Widget. So Webpage Widget is something that actually a lot of people that even have been using Tulip for years aren't very familiar with. And essentially what it does is it allows you to embed another web page from another website into your Tulip app. So you can see here, this web page here that I'm connected to is a web page that just generates a QR code. So it's really useful, if you want to embed, in this case, like, okay, I have an input variable clicking update, and then it's updating the web page itself. So now that I have this information from another app or whatever, I can scan it. So if you have to do like a handoff procedure between two apps, this is a really good way of doing it, because now with the other app, you can just put like a web page scan widget on there, scan this QR code, and then get started from there, or just transfer information. So it's a really good way of doing it. But you can, as you can see here, the Webpage Widget, to embed it, essentially all you have to do is go to embed, and then it's Webpage. So this is not enabled by default. So if you do want it enabled, let me know, send me an email, get in touch with me, and I can enable it for your website, because it's not enabled by default. So then once you embed it, as you can see here, you can either input a fixed URL. So say, for example, it's docs.new. Say I have just a simple Google Doc that I want to embed. I can copy the URL, post it in here, and I can just type in here. I can say, within our Tulip app, we now have the embedded doc that stays up to date. It's just a really good way to embed documents. One thing that I will point out is that there's a lot of websites that block being embedded from into other sites. So for example, Google Maps doesn't allow it. And you can see that when a website, so in this case, Google Maps, blocks these requests, you get this emoji here. So that means that just Google Maps doesn't allow to be embedded. So that's one thing to bear in mind. There are sometimes workarounds, you need to like change sharing settings or things like that can allow it to be embedded, but that's just one thing I wanted to share. And as you can see here, so if you remember the QR button here, every time I click it, it updates the QR code. And essentially what this is doing, it's quite simple. It's just storing the URL for the QR code that I was mentioning. So it's taking the first part, then it's putting in, it's concatenating in the variable that the user is inputting, and then just some more stuff and storing it in this variable called complete QR code. And that's what this web page widget here is referencing. It's just the complete QR code. Okay, cool. Is anybody using this feature already within Tulip? Or do people have ideas for which it would be useful? Okay, no problem if not. Okay, now the last thing that I wanted to cover was the messenger. So people often use Tulip for, of course, a variety of things, but it's often useful to have the ability to send basically direct messages between people. So if people are familiar with Slack or Skype or like, just AIM or like these quick messenger things, we've built this in Tulip. So it's a really quick and easy way to communicate between people who are using Tulip apps. So I'll show you what this looks like. So from any app, this is just an app that does nothing. You can see an icon all the way here at the top right, the messenger icon. You click into it and you'll see you're brought to this page that has the ability to send direct messages or messages by channel that you can organize by like team or project or whatever you want. So I'll get started with the direct messaging. You can see here, essentially, I can say, okay, I want to send a message to somebody. If I send a message and if I enter a message and I click the button, it says, please select a recipient. So then once I select myself, send message, boom, SMS sent. And now you'll see here in a second, here's the message that comes in. So this is a good way to send direct messages to people. If, you have like, a technician on the floor that needs to communicate with the manager because there's something out of spec or whatever it is, it's really good to incorporate direct messaging into your apps. And then over here we have what we call the channel messaging. So essentially, you'll see, okay, I post a message, and it comes all the way here at the top. Now everybody else who has this app running will see this message show up. So right now it's only me who's using it, so it's just kind of pretty boring conversation. But if there's other people who are using the app, they'll just see this hello pop up. So again, you can organize it by you can just say, okay, calipers, whatever, post it in here, and then again, everybody, when they click into the engineering channel, they see the calipers thing show up. So this is useful for if there's like a notifications board within your facility, or just something that you need to communicate. Say, oh, I'm running late for my morning shift or whatever it is. You can post in here, and then everybody sees it and stays up to date with the information. And actually, last week, somebody had built out basically like a pretty cool addition to this, in which you can mark messages as read. So as you come in here, as you select them, there was logic in which it was marking the message as read, so they would disappear from here. Yeah, and just to show you what the app looks like, it's really pretty simple. It makes use. Oh yeah, that's a good question, Nigel. So here, the way I have it set up right now, it's only text messages, but you can add it to. You can add, and actually maybe we can do that together, because I think it's a pretty good exercise. You can send images, for example. So here's the table. So it's using Tulip tables. And you can see here, basically, it says, okay, who sent the message, what channel it's in, the date it was sent, the body of the message, so the text, and then whether it was read or not. But I didn't fully finish building that out. But for example, we can send an image. Is that what you're referring to, Nigel? That would be useful to send? Or is there something else you had in mind? Yeah, and also emails. So you can send emails. You mean like you want for when this here is clicked to send an email? Yeah, an update. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that can be done, absolutely. So you can see here the trigger for this message is send SMS. You can also send an SMS with an image if you like, to, in this case, myself. But we can send an email. So you can say, okay, send email to, you can select the user dynamically here. I'll just select myself with message, and I'll just select the variable direct message like it is here. Click save. So now once I run the app, I click, oh, I need to enter a message. Okay, 1, 2, 3, SMS sent and email sent. And now in just a couple, here's the email that came into my inbox. So yeah, you can send emails. If you want to send emails, that's the way to do it. It's just the send email trigger. Yeah. But I think a pretty useful thing to show is also how we can send images in here. So say, for example, I have this image input here. I'll just create a new variable. I'll say, okay, create image. Boom, perfect. And then when I click post, I'll say, okay, this is just like creating the table record, adding all the information, and I'll just add a new action. I'll say, okay, data manipulation, store variable image that was just created, that input image into the table record, current message image. Perfect. So now that we have this, it's all set up. And I'll also add it to this. So this is, in case people aren't familiar, this is an interactive table that we use for, that's like basically takes a table you have, a Tulip table that you have, and embeds it directly within an app. And it's really cool because it gives you a lot of functionality, ability to do a lot of things. So now that we have the image, say I just take whatever, a random image, give it a second to upload, and then click post. Okay. Why isn't this image showing? So it's showing up here. Let me just restart the app, because Yeah, perfect. Here's the image. So now I have to go into engineering, or no, which one was in finance. Boom, here we have the image itself. Okay, so then maybe the last thing I'll show is, yep, you can see here, I'm gonna display the message itself. So because the image is pretty tiny in the interactive table, whereas if I just display the table record itself, once I select it, I now have the image here, bigger for reference. If you just, kind of want to, you want to see the image itself, you have it there, and you have the whole table record that's a bit bigger, and you can kind of move around and resize any way you'd like. Okay, cool. Did that make sense to everybody? Do folks have any further questions or thoughts or use cases for which this will be useful? Okay. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Yeah. So it's it's a really good. We call it components because essentially, once you make a, once you make the message here, the message component, you can. So we made both a mobile version. This is exactly the same functionality, but in here I can show you what the app looks like actually. You can imagine this running on somebody's cell phone if the organization allows people to send messages, but again, same way, icon up here, exactly the same information you can see here, but just in a mobile format. So it's it's a really good way to kind of communicate information within the organization. Okay, perfect. So do people have any questions or apps that you've been building that you want to share or that you're kind of stuck on or whatever it is? Typically we use the latter part of office hours just for open Q&A. So if you guys have questions, we can take a look and just see how others are solving problems. Oh, okay. So if there aren't any specific questions, is there something useful that I could build that you guys want to see together, or like if you guys have a use case, we can build it together as a group or whatever it is. This is really, kind of open time for any questions that you guys have. No questions? Okay. What about some of the people that have been coming for longer, Ove and Patchy? You guys have anything cool that you think would be useful to share with the rest of the team?
That's a good point. It's a good question. I'm trying to think.
I mean,
yes.
yeah, sorry, go. No.
I have some echo a bit. Sorry. I was thinking for new user, some really stupid stuff that I was struggling before was to create some round button, because when you create button it's a square, and now I am putting a border radius.
Yeah.
And to create some to kind of workaround that I use in the one app that I'm creating now.
Yeah. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. That's a good point. And I can show because it's so let me just add a new step here. I'll add this step and then I'll open up this app here in the player. Thanks for bringing that up. That's a really good idea. Essentially, what I want to show is let me just add a button to navigate this step. Go to step. Okay, perfect. So there's a lot of things in Tulip that people aren't aware of to like make building apps simpler, like Patchy was mentioning. One of them is the border radius here. So just, say you have a button that does whatever it is, sends a message, whatever it is, you can have a border radius to it. So if you make it, so for example, here, first of all, I make it height 100. If then I make the border radius 50, it turns it into a nice round button like this that, looks really like, yeah, just like a clean, clean button. You can mix kind of building apps, cleaner apps a lot simpler. Another thing that people often kind of miss is, so say you have like all your buttons that are a little bit, and it doesn't have to be buttons, it can be any kind of widget, pictures, text, variables, table records, whatever it is. Once you have them in there like this, if you select multiple by clicking Shift, so you select 3 of them, then you get these alignment tools over here that make it, just boom, lines everything up, and then distribute everything. In this case, I guess it's horizontally distributes everything. So it's, yeah, it makes kind of building, you don't have to worry about, making everything, aligning everything pixel perfect. You can just boom, like this, and then like this, and here now I put too many, but you get the point. It lines up everything pretty nicely. Then the other thing that sometimes is a little bit hard to find is if you click on the 3 buttons and then go to keyboard shortcuts, you get well, a bunch of shortcuts that are useful. But then also one that people often miss is scrolling. So zooming in and out. I'm sorry. So if you have this, you can zoom in and out into your app. In my case, I'm running Macintosh, so so it's Option Command and then scroll in and out. So zooming in and out like this is good, and spacebar I can pan around. So especially if you have an app that has a lot of little details and whatever, and it's just like you need to zoom it all the way in to something. That's how you do it. You can just look up the keyboard shortcuts and then see what it is for your computer, and then zoom in and then pan around that way. Okay, so then the other thing that actually brings up that I think we covered last week that is a pretty cool new feature that we added in the last release. And actually, that's another thing I should mention. If you want to stay up to date with our releases, so we're on a bi-weekly release cycle. So every 2 weeks, we make a release and we have a bunch of updates. As you can see here, for example, this is the one that was released on the 17th of January. Jacob from Tulip comes in here and he basically just, says all the things that were, all the new features that were released, and all the fixes, all the bug fixes that were released in a feature. So if you want to stay up to date, you can join community, and then you'll get every 2 weeks these updates, with all the new features that are released. So, but on release 198, which was 2 weeks ago, on the 17th, or maybe it actually was before, sorry, because of the holidays. But anyways, we released the barcode feature. So it's kind of similar to what I was showing earlier in the iframe here, where I was going to a website, but here, instead of being a web page, it's all native within Tulip. So here I'll just, actually, you know what? Let me just select a variable, input QR code. Okay, now I have this variable here. I'll create an input type text, and I'll map it out to this. So now in the app, when I run it, oh, why is it not showing up? There we go. So now when I input information into the input here, the barcode updates, stays up to date. So right now it's only this type of barcode, which is like the most commonly used standard barcode. I think they call it 128 or something. It's like what they use in the supermarket and on books and stuff. But yeah, it's a good way. Like I was saying earlier, like if you need to have a handoff, say between like, okay, a product is past quality control and now can go in for shipping. So shipping needs to know what work order or whatever is being scanned, what's being handed off. You know, you can have on the very last step of your quality control app, you can display this barcode, and then the team from shipping can have an app running that scans. And I can show you in case people aren't familiar. Here you can have the oh no, sorry, where is it? It's the here it is, the barcode scanner. I always lose it. The barcode scanner. So you can just have this scan a barcode. You can select the type of barcode that is being scanned, and then you can essentially say, okay, when you can add a device trigger. Say when the device barcode scanner optical outputs at the station with barcode appeared. Then we'll just say show message device output barcode scanner text. So this is like really simple. It's just going to show a message at the bottom of the screen with what was scanned. But of course, if you want to send an email, you want to store information in a table, you can do whatever you want. You can add all the actions that you want in here. But now I'll just show how it's scanning. So now I have to go back into the app and let me see if I have any barcodes here. I typically have one. Yeah, and so it depends. You need to have like pretty good lighting and stuff. But if you have a barcode here, it's always backwards. You know, let me just make it a little bit bigger because it's tiny. I can see it. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't like the orange background. But anyways, I don't have any other barcodes here with the white background, but it kind of like if you know you have to play around with the light and whatnot. But then once you get it, you know it's a good way to read what it's outputting. Does anybody already use this the barcode scanner, the optical barcode scanner?
Yes, a bit.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, yeah. So it's it's really similar to if you have actual like physical barcode scanners, you can also connect them this way and just say, okay, when the barcode scanner outputs at the station, and you can see it's exactly. I don't have one here at home, but it's the same as if you're using the camera here. Maybe you know what? Actually, I'll just show you device output text because again, this is really useful. I'll get a barcode here on my cell phone. 1 second. I'll just get a random QR code. And there we go. So you can see, okay, that's the QR code for the Wikipedia page. And you can see whenever it appears. And I line it up. Yeah, it just, you need to play around with like the lighting and like the reflection and whatnot, but you can see there it goes. It picks up the QR code. Or it doesn't have to be QR code actually for that matter. It can be whatever one of these types. It can be data matrices. It can be a whole lot of things.
Gio, I have a comment that it was not really mentioned in the release, but I can see on your screen it's the same. Now the display of users, login users, changed a lot. I don't know if it came with release 199, But if you open one of your app in your Tulip player,
Yeah.
you see now you have your your face. Yes, user. Now we can see your and I think you can click on it. Can you try? Ah, yes, you can click on it. And okay, for me, I was a bit confused because I discovered that, and I didn't see it in. It was not mentioned in the release, and I changed all my apps because I changed all my apps because I'm worried that a user will click on it. As you can see, you have some message, so I'm afraid that my operator will click and after they will get lost. And so yes, inside now I get the name. So I yes, like this. But it changed inside all my app. It changed. And yeah, I'm afraid my user will log out by doing so when they they click.
Yeah. And there's nothing in here, is there? Huh?
Yeah, I was I was surprised that it was not really mentioned, and I don't even know if it's from release 199 or 98. But I just discovered because on all my apps I put the login user at the, like you at the top.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was a dangerous change for me.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying to think what the reason why we added, like why we display the entire object of user. Nothing's coming to mind. I mean, I can see what you mean that it's dangerous. I think another thing that you could do
Protect.
is, what's that?
Yes, to protect like this with a.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly, to protect it. Yeah. So yeah, you just put a transparent box, and now now the user can't click it to sign out.
Yes, yes, yes. But
But yeah,
even in terms
yeah.
of display, you see, you cannot control. It's not white anymore. So on your background, I barely see your name, Geo, on with black and gray, Geo, and we cannot control. Now it's black. We cannot control it. Okay, I'm complaining. I'm French. I'm complaining, of course.
No. But it's a justified complaint. I think it's a justified complaint because like especially changes like this that change functionality to exist in existing app, we should communicate better. Yeah, and especially like, you know, if it can potentially change how it functions and how, you know, somebody can log out all of a sudden, whereas they couldn't before. We should do a better job of communicating these changes.
Yes, it's
Yeah.
if you can feedback that to
yeah, yeah, for sure. I'll send a message to the engineering team because it's yeah. Yeah, it's yeah, it's a good point. Thanks for bringing it up, Patchy.
I have another comment, a question, a super open question on release 199, and I see now there is different widgets that can directly connect to table. I'm wondering what is the spirit behind, or I don't know. See now Boolean input widget can connect to table. It's cool, but I don't really use it, and I don't really know what I will do with that.
You don't really use the Boolean?
I use with variables, but now I see we can call it. We can directly link it to a table record.
Yeah.
It was requested maybe by users.
Yeah. So say before. Sorry, I just need to take a note of something. Yeah. So say you have a simple form to record some information. Okay. So we have a table here. Essentially, it avoids the need to have to create a variable in the interim. Say, okay, we have a form. We can want to say, I don't know, what's tickets. Say we have an app that is selling tickets. So we have the ID. Then we can have the number of tickets, and then we want to say whether it's been shipped or not. So we're shipping tickets to people. And I'll just create a couple of records in here. I'll say, okay, ABC, it's 4 tickets, not been shipped. And then we have another one here. This one's going to be 6 tickets. This one's not been shipped either. So now we have an app that somebody on the shipping department, once they ship these tickets out, but I guess I didn't select the best thing, whatever, tickets doesn't really matter. But so here now, instead of, actually, before I do that, I need to create the record placeholder. So I'll just create this. Perfect. Now in here, before this was available, we need to come in here, create a variable, say, okay, the variable, oh, I already had I'll just create a new one, ticket, ship. Okay, so we need to have this, and then we need to have a button to say, okay, data manipulation, store data variable, ticket shipped into the table record, ticket shipped. So now that I have this, let me just add a next button here. Oops. So now say we just have this, we say, okay, now the ticket's been shipped. Oh, I didn't load the record, sorry.
Yes,
Yeah. So before this, I just need to load the table record, by ID, ticket, into ticket by ID, static value. So I'll just do the ABC one for now. Okay, so load it up. And you can see here, yes, no, yes, no, but I have to click the buttons, and I have to do 2 things. I need to create a variable in the app called ticket ship, and then I need to click the button to update it. Whereas if I link it directly to the table record, this specific field, you know, once I update it, I don't need to click the button. I can tie it directly to the table record.
No, it's great, huh? But what I'm wondering if the product will go all the way, like at the moment, if I want to display some information that are inside the table, I need to create a variable to extract it. You think in future it will be possible to directly display text field from table?
Yeah, well, actually, I mean, have you done this, select the table record, and then you can go ahead and select like the individual components from the record here. So you know, for example, here you can just select the ID, and here it displays it like this. You can modify it.
Yes, I can do like this.
Yeah. So that's a good way of doing it. You can make it any way you'd like. So, but yeah, in the future, like right now, it's only Boolean that are supported, but in the future, you'll be able to do the same way. So if you have a text field that is being recorded, yeah, exactly. So instead of just being variable here, you also have table record and do the same thing that we did with.
No, it would be great. Huh? I have many use case in my mind where I need to extract all the field from a table and then put it in a variable just for display.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so it's, you know, well, actually, like even like a year and a half ago, tables didn't exist, so people only used variables within apps. So then when tables, you know, as we've been kind of, after we released them, we've been adding functionality. We've also been making it easier to interact with information in tables from apps. So for example, like I was mentioning earlier, adding the interactive table. So you can just tie directly to the Tulip table itself and display information like this wasn't available a couple of months ago. And yeah, it's but yeah, in the future for sure, you want to have like, you know, just display information that's in the table record and be able to update it without having to store the variable, do all that, all those things.
Yes, it would be great. Huh?
Bye, Victor. Thanks for joining. See you next time. Yeah.
Yeah, Giovanni, I have a question just on tables there. Is there a way that you can audit the changes made to tables? Like say if a user has made changes to the table, is there a way of auditing that or seeing that if they made an update or anything? Like an audit trail?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, like an audit trail on the tables. So if a user has made a change to the table, so our users can see the change.
Yeah. It's a great question. That was released. I can't remember. Here, let me look it up. But anyway, it doesn't matter. It's yeah, there is a way of doing that.
Yep.
So the way you do that is by embedding a record history.
Okay.
So you can see, and this, you may not have it on your instance. If you don't, send me a message and I can enable it for you.
Yep.
But essentially, you can see here, once you embed this, you get this widget here. Make it nice and big and say, okay, I'll select, okay, just for now, for demo's sake, I'll also start to modify this so that we have some changes that have been made to the table. So now I have made some changes. I'll, and now I have the ticket loaded in here. So now you can see here immediately, this loads up all the history for this record. So starting from, okay, I created this through the admin interface on at 9:37. It was nothing here, and then I added this information. Then from this step here, change from false to true. At this time, then switched it back and forth a bunch of times, true, false, true, false, true, false. And then if you remember from the admin interface, I changed it from 4 to 6 and then 6 to 12. So yeah, now again, just last one, if I come in here and say, okay, make it 1012. I guess I need to reload the record actually to change. But yeah, is that what you were referring to, Nigel?
Yeah. I'm thinking like if a user makes a change to like a process, can that show the audit trail that please made the change day and maybe send a message out to all our users that the change has been made?
Sorry, I didn't catch the first one. There was somebody speaking.
Yeah, so if a user makes a change, to a table, it audit trails that change and then maybe sends a message out to all users that the change has been made to that table.
Oh yeah, you can do that.
Yeah, like an update.
Yeah, exactly. Sorry. Yeah, it's really good. You can do that, no problem. So yeah, I mean, it kind of depends. There's like lots of different ways to set it up, but yeah, you could have like, yeah, this table.
Yeah, I'm thinking of, say, an engineer, like an electrical engineer, creating a new alarm list, and then he's creating a new alarm number, and then he finishes out the process, but he hasn't completed the last process, so it sends a message to all our users to say that the table has been edited, but the process has not been finished. It needs maybe a sign off or an update from our user. Yeah.
Yeah. That's really good. Yeah, for sure. You can build that in. You can. Yeah. Again, like this will take a little while to build because it depends on the workflow of your app and like what users sign off. But that just to confirm, are you aware of the signature form here?
No.
No. So this is a really good thing. That often users aren't aware of. So but essentially what it does is it puts in this signature form. So if you need to have a sign off, like you were saying, so if whatever the process is, you need somebody, a manager, a supervisor to come in here and say, okay, I want only specific users, only Johnny and John can come in here to approve it. You can have this this step in here to only complete the app at that point. So like if you build it into the whole workflow that you were describing, a change is made to a table, so the manager is notified, and then they're asked to come and approve and sign off on something, and you only want to select specific users. That's how you do it. So
Yeah, does them specific users get a message, they sign off? Can you alert them that they have to sign it off, or is that just a part of the process?
yeah, so you would do that here. So say you have, yeah, exactly. You have part of the process, and then you have like a next button down in your app, down over here. And you say, okay, before going to the next step, then also send an email to
Okay, yeah.
to whatever, and then send them like, hey, this part number or this work order or this whatever needs your sign off. So please come to the shop floor and sign it off. That's how you would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a really good, good feature that, yeah, is sometimes overlooked. So it's, you know, here I can just show you what it looks like real quick. So say my badge ID is 46. I click complete. It tells me, oh, you can't submit it. You're not. I'm not, because I didn't select myself. Remember, it's only Johnny and John. Let me go see what their IDs are. 5896. If I come in here and sign off is 5896, boom, sign off completes the app, and then it lets me continue and you know, with life. And yeah, actually, while I'm here, there's another pretty kind of, I'd say, almost hidden feature within Tulip that people aren't aware of always, which is custom fields. So if you navigate from your profile, click into settings, then go into the users tab here, you'll see you get a list of all the users within your account, and then you have custom fields. So this is similar to the tables that you're used to. You can have custom columns for each of your users. So say, okay, yeah, oh, I already have the forklift certified one. Let's just say, like, for example, I want to display whatever number, and I can say number of years at company, because that the number of years that they work at the company defines what processes they can do. I can very simply add that. And now for each user, I can say, okay, Giovanni's been in the company for 3 years, and John Appleseed doesn't exist. He's been there for 8 years. Now, once we have these loaded up in our app, we can come in here and say, okay, say we want to, before going to sign off, we want to have a check and say, oh, is the users, logged in user, years at company, is greater than or equal to static value number 5, then go to next. Else we can say, oh, you know what, show error message, static value, sorry, you haven't not worked long enough, or something like that. And then essentially, so now, for example, say, yeah, so for my record, it was only 3, if you remember, so I can't complete a certain process. So if you can imagine, yeah, like if, you know, there's some procedures or something that require people that have been there a longer time or need a special certification. I had the forklift one. So if only somebody can go in and start using an app that requires forklift certification, you can add it in here and do that. But whereas if I put 1, click next, it lets me continue.
Yeah, thank you.
Yep. Okay, awesome. Yeah, I think a couple people had to drop off. Are there any other questions or anything that would be useful to cover? Okay. If not, for future office hours, if there's something that, you know, you guys are building the next week that you think would be good to go over, feel free to send me an email, whatever, and I can build a little demo that we can showcase some of the things that you guys need. Okay, perfect. So yeah, last thing as a reminder, if you guys want to go in and submit your app for the competition, it's a good chance to win. I don't have a clock, one of those clocks here, but they're actually pretty cool because it's yeah, it's kind of updates as the day goes along. You can see it, but yeah, essentially just kind of, yeah, like all these numbers light up in different ways as the day goes along, and it's a nice little custom Tulip limited edition gift. So all you guys have to do is submit your entry with some photos and videos of the app, and then the one with the most likes wins the clones. Okay, perfect. So yeah, I'll be hanging out if you guys people have questions, but if not, thanks everybody for joining. Have a good weekend, and we'll see you next week.
Thanks very much, Giovanni.
Thanks, Giovanni.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
ya.
Thanks, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.